Going to Rauf, also, we have heard about strategy in bringing in strategy at the earliest point in the supply chain process. With your role and your experience so far, most specifically at GZ Industries, what lessons can small businesses learn about integrating the end-to-end supply chain into their business strategy? I think this one will be so key in mirroring what strategy and how strategy can be value add to small businesses. Over to you.
Yeah, thank you. I think first, all SMEs or business owners has to realize that first, supply chain is how we deliver value to our customers. And the choices and the strategies we make around this is what enable that to happen. So, that's the first thing we have to realize. And then the business has to be clear how it intends to deliver value to their customers, right? So, how do we do this, and what lesson can SMEs learn in doing this early on in the business? First, setting up the goal is to make sure that end-to-end, like has been mentioned many times, end-to-end feasibility is there for you, because your business needs to be data-driven. One of the mistakes you see with SMEs is that most of the decisions are not backed by data, and when the business is ongoing, they are also not storing the data as they are generating as a business. So they do not have the intelligence to say, the last time this is how long it took us to deliver from here to here, or this is how long this supplier is performing, or how well it's performing. This particular supplier is performing compared to other suppliers. So first, to start from just is to make sure that we are gathering the right data for the business and taking decisions, so our decisions can be data-driven. They can guide us to what we need to do exactly. And secondly is ensuring that our goal as a business, the type of business we are doing, is actually aligned to the strategy we are using. So like I mentioned earlier, is you as a business, let's take for example a retailer. First, it's what kind of customer do you want to serve, and your locations matters. And how do you get inventory into your locations? All of this is what an SME has to come in terms with and align in ensuring that you continue to serve the customers and you continue to get your input materials in the cheapest way possible, as fast as possible, in the quality that you need, and ensuring that work for you. That is one. Second one is building relationship with the supplier. So we are not seeing suppliers as no supplying goods, right? They are actually part of your business. They are business partners for you in building that relationship and in managing them with data. So you have a supplier that's giving you a lower cost, but always not delivering on time. And you have other suppliers that are maybe a little more expensive, but you can depend on them. You can trust the quality. So it's not just about cutting costs. So supply chain is not for you to just reduce costs. It's about optimizing the systems, about efficiency. And probably why you run your business today, you have to ensure that today you are doing well, and tomorrow the business is also there. And that's why we talk about flexibility for the business. So you are not unnecessarily using a complex supply chain for your system. So like Michael mentioned earlier, you start your business with ordinary Excel, you put the data there, you manage data, you analyze data. As the business grows and become more complex, you also scale to what your business needs now. Now maybe you need a low-scale ERP. As your business gets more and more complex, more and more people coming, more experts coming, you upgrade that also to something more advanced and more suitable for your business. This can be that data. And probably also aligning your supply chain to your customer promise. Right? Like I mentioned last time, if you want to do fast delivery, your supply chain is different from someone that always wants to ensure premium quality. You are selling juice, for example, you want to be sure that what you are serving to your customer is fresh. Your strategy is totally different from someone that wants to ensure that it's serving the mass market and it's always ready on the go. So, I think those are the areas that I think that SMEs can leverage on starting their business from early on. So you don't need to wait till your business grows. As you are setting up your business, you are aligning your goal with your supply chain, you are aligning your strategy with your supply chain, and then with that way you grow, and then it's flexible. So there's as the business grows, you are able to then scale. You start with something as simple as Excel. When it gets more complicated for your system, for your operation, you move to something a bit more suitable. That way, you maintain flexibility, you're able to service your customers, and you're able to also manage disruptions when they happen.
Thank you so much. There are very critical areas I have picked from what you've explained. Goal-aligned strategies. So, as SMEs, there's supposed to be an aligned system of goals in an organization. And then one of the key areas, which is something which I've come to realize it is being overlooked is building relationships with suppliers. Yeah, because suppliers are the backbone of any organization. If suppliers are not being taken as part of the key stakeholders within the organization, this one can really have a negative impact to the organization, not only SMEs, but even to the huge organizations globally. Now, from our viewers and listeners who are listening to us, if you have any questions, just push it on the chat box. I can see your comments, very good comments, which are coming in reference to our discussion. Thank you, Tolu. You have commented that supply chain is part of everyday life, which I totally agree with you. Guatem, data management, supplier management is key. And with our viewers and our panelists here, I'm sure they can be able to dissect this much more on how important it is. Yeah, supply chain is really crucial for the success of every organization because of the high cost involved. This is also a comment from Guatem. It is really, really true. You could not have said it in other words than what you have said. Supply chain is critical. That's why we saw it is very important for us to have this discussion, because SMEs, as John has said, they are the key to the growth of the global economy. Going back to Michael, I know you have already talked about simple strategies SMEs can use in bringing value, like the use of Excel to follow up on the resources, especially inventories. I know from your long experience in supply chain management and leadership, you might be having other local strategies which you can share with our SMEs. And this one will come by me asking you, how important is last mile delivery for small businesses? And what low-cost strategies can they adopt to bring value to the organization?
Thank you so much for this question. Initially, I wanted to speak more. I wanted to just do some elaboration on what Rauf said on strategy, because supply chain has gone beyond just being an enabler. Supply chain is more of a competitive advantage, integrated into the vision and what the organization stands for. So, like Rauf mentioned earlier, having an integrated supply chain into your overall business operations would drive a lot of advantage for you in terms of cost management, in terms of profitability. It's very important. Speaking to the question on last mile, in the recent time, I see last mile as one critical aspect for small businesses, especially for those in the retail, the commercial world, in the retail, food services, and other touch points. Last delivery is the final touch point with the customers, and its impact, if positive, will bring a repeat business, and if otherwise, in terms of delays or poor services, could damage the trust and reputation of such organizations. So what I've seen in the past is that in terms of last mile, some SMEs tends to go for a high key of expensive last mile. Where we've mentioned earlier to say that it depends on what you want to be known for. Do you want to be known for fast delivery, or you want to be on time and still deliver quality service to that organization? So there are a lot of things we can do, not necessarily expensive in terms of last mile. Now, and I will speak to one important one that I've seen with my experience in the last few years. One of them is buying in bulk, sharing bulk buying with fellow people, fellow SMEs within your space. For example, you want to go to the market to buy probably some cartons of some products. Why can't you pull resources together with people around you to get those resources, to get those purchases, and bring it to your location? That is one important aspect. The other important aspect is you can also pull logistic costs together. Now, I'll give you a bit of a narrative in terms of what I saw recently. I have a friend that operates a farm in the hotter part of Nigeria. One of the factors impacting their operations is the last mile, because there are no trucks to deliver those products. This guy has some resources. He has access to credit to purchase a vehicle, but he doesn't have the farm capacity to ensure that that truck is fully optimized. My advice was simple. Discuss with your fellow farmers. See how much they can contribute to ensuring that you optimize that truck. If you can get it to the level of optimization, go ahead and buy the truck and start to use it. And I can tell you today, he's doing well, because he has been able to understand that for him to deliver effectively with the dearth of trucks in Nigeria today, he needs to have that effective logistic to achieve his last mile. Now, today, all over the world and in Nigeria, in Kenya, partnership with what I call the Korean organization is also another way you can ensure that your last mile is important to you. You can ensure that you deliver on time to your customers and deliver quality. And I will give you a typical example of what happened recently to me as well. I booked for a lunch with a company called Boy in Nigeria. I've had several deliveries with a lot of organizations. And when I had that delivery, I visited them once and I had to do online ordering. The kind of logistics service they gave me was shocking. And what do I mean? Within 30-45 minutes from where I was, which is about, if I'm not wrong, for those that know Nigeria very well, between Ajao Estate and Chukwuelue, it was delivered within 30 minutes at a very, very cheap price. I bought a consignment worth 20,000 naira before online, and it was delivered with 6,000 naira. That means I've already delivered with about 40-30% of the value of what I'm getting. This delivery I mentioned to you was done with just 10% of the value of what I bought. So that is last mile delivery. And it was delivered on time. Quality service. Tell me, won't I go back to do a repeat order with Boy? I will definitely do. So last mile for every business could make or mar you. I always advise organization, you can partner with a lot of organizations, a lot of logistic organizations who can as well deliver quality last mile delivery for you. It's not compulsory to have your own trucks. Last mile is not about having your logistic company. It's not about building your own logistic company. It's about being smart. It's about being consistent, and it's about delivering quality service. Thank you.